to today's recap and welcome back to the channel and to part of what we're doing in the program. So today, as you can see by the title of the video, back and lats. We're keeping it really simple. It is 4 movements, a bit like we've done the last couple of days. And in this case, we're going to treat it as an AMRAP, so as many rounds as you can get in 20 minutes. So it's not about killing yourself. It's about just obviously some of these movements you can do significantly quicker and there'll be a bit of a faster pace. Others will be more strength based. And then we'll do a little bit of a finisher. So we're down low here on the floor. Whilst I don't have a full power cage with a pull-up bar up here, which I need to do and I'll probably start looking for one. I've got the bar set up here on the strongman yoke. This is not as high as I can get it. I can go higher, but I just couldn't be bothered to move to stabilize the bar down. So it basically means you can see by my hands here, my hands are coming up, which means I need to sit back down and I need to I've really got to engage my core so that way I don't pendulum. So what we're going to do for the first movement, it is 5 stop and go pull-ups. Now what I mean by stop and go is you're not bouncing at the bottom like you would normally do to get your momentum. You're doing a strict pull, you're coming all the way down. I'm going to put my knees back on the floor. So if I come here, as you can see, my arms are still bent. So what I need to do is I need to come all the way down. I really need to engage here, pull nice and tight, down, and that's 1. Now, it's not necessarily my full pull, but it still gets me in my lats because I'm also going with a wider grip. So therefore, pulling all the way up, chin to the bar, all the way back down, and releasing, basically reset. So that's what we call a dead stop. We also do things with a dead stop swing of the kettlebell, but in this case, it's a strict pull and it's down. So we'll try not to use momentum, we're not kipping. We're going to go for 5. Now what I did for here, I did overhand grip, I did underhand grip, you might call it chin-ups. Also try to reverse grip for my sets of 5. From there we're going to come onto the kettlebells, pair of sitting here, pair of 24s. I'm going to do what's called a gorilla row and a simple bent over row. And we're just going to alternate between gorilla rows and bent over rows. Now with the gorilla row, some people will pick the kettlebell up off the floor and put it back down and then go for the second one. So what that would look like would be here, kettlebells are nice and tight. I would go 1, 1. Option 2, which is my preference, is to fully pick them off the floor. So fully engage, 1, 2. And why do that? Because then this side is also working while that side's pulling. So it's got to be in support. So 1, 1. Second time around, third time around, it's up to you. I go double row, so like a double bent over row from here, simply sitting in 1. And these will go for 10. Numbers are simple, 5 reps, 10 reps. Ski Erg is behind, ignore the phone ringing in the background. Ski Erg is behind. It is a 15 calorie row. It's up to you. I chose a nice steady pace for the first round, getting it within a minute. Second round, sprint a bit higher, a bit faster, and get up around the 1800 calories per hour, and that brings it in around 45 seconds. It also taxes me a little bit more. So therefore, when I come to my final movement, which is with the band, it is band pull-aparts. So you're going to find yourself a band. In my case, you might want to twist it around so these bits aren't hanging out. But basically, I'm going to be in a standing up position, but I'll do it here on my knees is the same. We'll basically pull. Now, you're not doing this. It is pull. It's a scapular, right? And it's also, it's not a row. It's pull it apart. Pull it apart. Want to make it harder? It's easy. Come in a little bit narrower, or double the band up. Don't be afraid to double the band up. It's significantly harder, and I've got to work a lot harder. But also what that'll do, that'll bring my traps in. So to avoid doing that, I'll go a bit wider, and I'll use more of my, let's call it, my lower part of your traps into my lats. And again, I'm going to go for 20. 5 pull-ups, 10 of the rows, 15 calories, 20 face pulls, band pull aparts, up to you what you want to do. Now, once we're done with the 20 minutes, get your rounds, 4 rounds, 5 rounds, 3 rounds even, whatever, doesn't make a difference, it's up to you. I'm then going to come back on for a finisher. I'm going to do 3 rounds of a finisher, and they are pretty damn simple, although they hurt. And what I mean by hurt is you've got to work, you've really got to work. So what I did is I faced this way instead, and like an LSit, or at least trying to keep my feet off the floor, I'm going to go with a wide overhanded grip. I'm going to try and do a 30-second hold, like an LSit. So what that means, from here, I'm coming down, and I'm trying to hold. Now, I'm not necessarily that great as far as holding a real good LSit. My legs are actually a little bit wide, so in the case, I'm going to pull my knees in a little tiny bit, and I'm going to get a 30-second hold. 30 seconds hold done. I'm going to give myself a 30-second break. I'm then going to come back on. I'm going to sit in the same position, but I'm basically going to do like a knees to chest or like a knee tuck. I'm going to go for 15 reps. Now, up to you. Underhand, overhand, reverse grip. I did all 3. Okay. So basically, I changed my grip with each movement. What that looks like. Again, I chose to go with a wider grip. So I'm simply sitting in here, and I went. And so on. Now, the range is not huge. Again, if I had a full cage, I could probably do an easier with a bit of a pendulum swing, strict toes to bar. Okay, I don't want to keep in this. I want this to be the stuff that's working. I don't want my hips to be working. So I could do a strict toes to bar. I could do a strict knees to chest and point my feet down. Knees to chest and point my feet down. Because obviously in a hanging position, I've got more room to be able to use my hips. And I'm going for 3 rounds. So let's recap. First one, 20-minute AMRAP, 5 dead stop pull-ups, hand change placement variation, up to you. 10 of the kettlebells, gorilla row, alternate that with double arm, bent over row. 15 calories on the ski erg, 20 band pull aparts. And you can change that band pull apart up by double hand. I also did a round where I did one arm straight and I just pulled this one out, and this guy had to really be stable through the back of the shoulder. Get your rounds done, 20 minutes, give yourself a couple of minute break and come on to the finisher. Again, a dead hang, whether it's an LSit or if you're in the gym, just a straight dead hang, toes pointed to the floor, be nice and strict like a gymnast, or it's like someone who's coming up for a dive. 30-second hold, come back on, 15 of your knees to chest, LSit, toes to bar, or some variation. Now, if you're doing this at home and you don't have this gear, the hardest thing for you to do is going to be the hang. So go and find a pergola or something like that at the back. Maybe not the washing line, although we used to do it as kids, because there aren't too many hills hoists around anymore that are good and sturdy. But basically, I want you to find yourself a hold. Now, if you can't do pull-ups, I simply want you to do a dead hang. Or you do a dead hang for 15 to 20 seconds and focus on pulling the shoulders back, release. Pulling the shoulders back, release. So that's what we call a scapular retraction. So from here, I'm holding, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull myself up a bit, chest comes out, I'm going to release. And maybe it's 5 scapular retractions for you that you're going to do. You can replace the kettlebells with your sandbag or your ruck, and you can do obviously an underhanded grip or an overhanded grip with your rows. Now if that's the case, you're still going to do 10. If you don't have the ski erg, again, I'm using that because it's pulling in my lats. Mimic it, replace it, put in shuttle runs, put in shadow boxing, put in skipping, but something that at least it's going to jack the heart rate up. You may not have to use your lats quite clearly, but I find skipping will help you do that a little bit better than the others, because at least you've still got to pull this guy back to turn the rope nice and fast. Band pull aparts, they're pretty straightforward, that's it. If you don't have a band, that's easy. Get a rope and just hold onto a piece of rope. Hold onto a piece of garden hose, something, and just simply grip it and try and pull it apart. Hold for 5 seconds, relax, come back down. Bring it back up. Just isometric, pull, pull, pull. Put it down, maybe you do 5 sets of 10-second holds. Go from there. Again, back to the finisher. Simply do your hold, do your dead hang. And if you don't have anything and you really want to get the abdominal stuff done, lay down the floor. Put your hands behind you, hold onto your ruck, something else. Do your leg raises, do your knee tucks, and maybe a high push. So knees in, feet up to the sky, back down. Knees in, feet up to the sky, back down, and you'll get your abdominal part of your workout you finish. That's it. My name is Dom. Please like, please subscribe, please tell a friend. What I know more, what you're going to do is comment. I'll comment, share back. Any information you want to know, we're here to help. Cheers.